Hey there, good evening to you. Thanks so much for joining us here on Facebook Live as well as YourCentralValley.com as we kick off KSEE24's midterm election coverage tonight. I'm Evan Onstad.
And I'm Stephanie Barugian. The polls are now closed and the focus is on the returns. KSEE24, your local election headquarters, and we're going to have coverage for you from throughout the state tonight. We're going to bring you results for the 2018 midterms. We've got reports from Los Angeles, San Diego, Bakersfield, Tulare County, Fresno County, the North Valley. We're everywhere.
Yeah, we are. And so we're glad that you're with us here tonight. We're going to move you through us. We're going to be here online from 8 o'clock until 9 o'clock, and then again from 10 o'clock until 11 o'clock. And we'll keep going online for the next hour, in which we're going to have an hour-long newscast on KSEE24. What we want to do right now is get a quick check-in where the polls just closed downtown at the Fresno Elections Office. Angelica Leilani has been watching what has been a very busy time out there.
It seemed unusually busy.
Exactly. Angelica.
Yeah, that's right. It actually has to do with a lot of what the law that passed where it's the same day registration and voting laws. There were so many folks that were out here today. Those doors actually just closed behind me, and I can tell you that people were out here, they were registering, there was jam-packed outside and inside, and I can tell you that a lot of them tell me that it was their first time voting and being part of an election process. And the county clerk tells me that around 6 o'clock earlier that they had already received 97,000 ballots, and she tells me that back in June, after the primary election was over and everything was counted, that they had received a total of 99,000 vote by mail envelopes, and she's expecting that this midterm election to exceed that. And again, those that we spoke with earlier say that they were surprised by this turnout.
As you see more people coming out, that means more people care. That means, the effects that's happening with our country right now, and more people care about it, and they want to make the change, and they want to keep the things going the way they are. It's all the people's choice.
And again, the polls have officially closed, and I was told that in the next 5 minutes or so we should have those first set of numbers, so you can stay with us. Of course, we will make sure we get you up to date, and I can tell you that there was no real big issue out here other than one voter probably having to turn their shirt inside out just because they had a slogan on it. But other than that, it was pretty smooth and seamless out here. Didn't really have that many issues. You guys?
Angelica, thanks so much. Yeah, you can't have any sort of campaign slogan on a T-shirt. It's not like we've been over inundated with campaign ads and broadcasts this whole time. We got Jim Veros. We got Lisa Bryant. She is a professor of political science at Fresno State. Jim, what do you do?
Nothing.
Yes, he does a ton. If you see him on Sunday Morning Matters, he's a political analyst for us, and he also has FresnoCast.com, where he's the host of Unfiltered with Jim Veros. So glad to have both of you here with us. As we look forward to these results coming out, it's going to tell us so much. These mail-in ballots mean a lot because the majority of Californians now are actually casting these mail-ins. That's what we're seeing, right? That's the trend, at least.
Yeah, that's the trend. In places that have no excuse absentee ballots, I mean, we're seeing that nationwide, that more and more people are choosing to take convenience voting options when that's presented to them.
All right. So right now, let's just look ahead to when these numbers come out. And when they come out, when these early numbers come out, we're going to start putting them up on our screen. What's going to be the race that you guys are looking forward to seeing the results for right away?
Surprisingly, I think it's Fresno City Council District 7. I think Brian Wheeler needs to have a decent lead with the absentee votes to have a chance in the evening. By 8:15, 8:30, if he doesn't have a 3 to 5, at least 3 to 5% lead, it's going to be a long night for Brian.
Interesting. Lisa, what are you looking forward to seeing?
I think probably CD22 and probably Measure P, since we have a little side bet on that.
All right. So when you talk about Congressional District 22, that's Andrew Jans challenging Devin Nunes, which is going to be one of those races where a lot of pollsters right now, they've been not giving Andrew Jans much of a chance, but this is the race that people nationwide have had their eyes on so much. I mean, what's so interesting about this race to you? Do you think Jans has a good chance to win this, or are you looking at it for other reasons?
I think that Nunes has sat in that seat quite safely for a long time, and this is the first time he's really had a formidable challenger to speak of. And so I think it'll be interesting to see what happens in that district.
All right.
I think it's going to be interesting to see, Jantz versus Nunes, only because this was the first time a candidate raised this type of money, Andrew Jantz, without the, we talked about this since January, that he never got the full finance backing of the DCCC. The DNC never really came in for him, and he had to find other resources to bring in the money. And
he found it.
And you got to give Andrew Jantz the credit. He did go out and find that money and spent it.
Well,
so, yeah.
And CD22 is one of so the districts that we've been seeing flip nationwide tonight are ones that are suburban districts that have a Republican House incumbent but went for Hillary Clinton in 2016, and that's CD22. And so, it could fit in that profile.
It's interesting, and when we start looking at other congressional races, obviously NBC News projecting that the House is going to be moving to Democrat control. A lot of these races, though, they still need to happen. Projections are one thing, they still need to happen, and a lot of people are looking at California saying, hey, maybe that has to, Josh Harder, for example, against Jeff Denham, that's a race that they were looking for, that they're counting on a victory there. What else in the Valley? Is there anything that...
Once again, I think every cycle we go back and go, how is David Valadao continuing to win re-election? Because when you take a look at the registration, the Dems always, every time you talk to any Dem in D.C., any pollster, any sort of insider operative going, how do we find a Dem to run against David Valadao? Because the registration is so strongly Democrat. And every cycle we're sitting at this table going, David's got it. And it does appear this evening that Congressman Valadao will win re-election.
Well, we'll see when these numbers start coming out.
I was going to say early ballot returns, actually, more Democrats returned their ballots early, which is unusual for not only that district, but just in general. Republicans usually have the advantage on early ballots, so on vote by mail.
All right, so we're going to be going to you guys throughout the evening, all right? Because I appreciate your analysis more than my own. All right? But right now, Steph, let's get it back to you because we do want to start looking at some of those congressional races.
We do, and we will. We're going to be, as we mentioned earlier, we do have crews really all around the state and certainly all around the Valley. We're going to be checking in right now with Bailey Miller. She is in Northwest Fresno with the Andrew Jantz camp tonight. That's where he's holding his get-together. Bailey, what's happening out there right now?
Hey guys, yes, I'm at the Andrew Jantz event right now. You can probably see there's a lot of energy here. A lot of people sitting here, wearing their shirts. You can see them there. A lot of music playing right now. I just spoke with some people and they're saying they're feeling hopeful after those projections of the Democrats taking the House. So they are still feeling hopeful tonight about Jantz, but we do have his campaign with us here. We have Mari. She's the communications director. So talk a little bit about how he's feeling right now.
Andrew's feeling really good. We're really optimistic. We've knocked on 25,000 doors and made 10,000 phone calls within the last 24 hours. So we're really hopeful that our community members will do the right thing tonight. And we're just we're really excited to thank all of our volunteers tonight with a great party for all the hard work that they've put into this campaign.
Definitely, and he's not here yet. He'll be showing up in a few minutes. But what's he feeling like? He's in a back room right now. I'm sure just watching those polls. How are the polls looking for you guys?
I actually do not know what the polls are looking for. Like, I know that absentee ballots were counted and it showed we were only 5 points behind. So that's really good news for us, and we're very hopeful.
Definitely, and talk about why this race is so important for the Valley. You were telling me earlier, but talk about why Andrew Jantz, if he wins, and what he would do for the Valley.
I think Andrew is the change that our Valley needs. We've had the same representative for the past 16 years with very, very little to show, if anything at all. I mean, we ask people who are his supporters and we say, like, what has he done? And they can't really say anything. And so I think Andrew will bring much change, much needed change for us here.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. So he'll be out in just a few minutes, right? The event should be short. Awesome. Perfect. Sounds good. Yes, so we will be watching the polls here. We've got it on a big screen right here. A lot of people very excited. They've just been talking about, once again, just how hopeful they are. So I'll send it back to you guys. I'm live here at the Fall Events Center at the Andrew Jantz event.
All right, feeling very optimistic, it sounds, feeling like they're pretty close on this count. Of course, we've yet to see any numbers, so we don't know.
That's true. We're waiting for those. That'll tell us a lot. It's interesting. Driving through Fresno, Northwest Fresno, I keep seeing these Andrew Jantz supporters and volunteers at the corner of Shaw and Palm, right next to Fig Garden. And I keep thinking, well, if he does lose, it's not going to be for lack of effort.
You have to really give him credit for that.
It's been a race that we have not seen
And
against Devin Nunes in a long time.
I know, and the mailers that came in really from both candidates, and the signs that we've seen everywhere, in their district, in the neighborhood. So really, there's been a lot of effort on both sides. Megan Roop is covering the Devin Nunes event tonight. She joins us now from Hanford. Megan.
Steph, Evan, we are here in St. John's Hall in Hanford. The room is very busy, and we're actually just seeing some of these first results now. It looks like Congressman Devin Nunes is ahead so far of challenger Andrew Jans by about 13% at this point. And with us, we have Fresno County Supervisor Nathan Magzik. He graciously agreed to chat with me this evening. Supervisor, who are you here supporting tonight? Obviously, Nunes and maybe some more.
Yeah, so all those on the Republican ticket here locally, I was supporting all of those candidates. So, of course, David Valadeo is up tonight, as well as Justin Mendez, and was a supporter of all of them, and as well as Mr. Vidak, who is running to hold on to his state Senate seat. So right now here locally, all of our local Republican candidates are doing very well, and it looks like they're going to continue to hold on to their seats. So that's exciting news for us here in the Central Valley.
And we're seeing these numbers. It is a pretty big gap. These are the first round of results that we're going to see, but we did have a strong challenger here, and I think Congressman Nunes was pretty comfortable in this district for several years, but these last polls were 5%, 11%. That was closer than what he'd seen in a while. Was there some worry at all?
You know, I can tell you that over the course of the last 10 years, really, I've relied less and less on polls. And so, of course, this was a very difficult race. It was a race where probably close to $20 million was spent in that congressional race. Andrew Jans fought very hard, spent a lot of money, but at the end of the day, this particular district is a solidly Republican one, and I think that's a reflection in the numbers.
What do you think about some of Prosecutor Jans's attacks on Congressman Nunes, that he was absent?